New tokens, new airdrops, new opportunities. There's been so much hype around perpetual DEXs last couple of weeks, but what we can expect next? Let's jump straight in. Santiago already covered, it is very likely that we're getting a MetaMask airdrop soon. Of course, nothing is confirmed yet, but at the moment, speculations from the interview suggest there might be a token sooner than we expect. So what we can do to qualify, of course, if you're still using MetaMask, good for you. But if you haven't opened the DApp in a couple of years, then make sure to do a couple swaps, bridge transactions, and all the features that are common, because MetaMask does have over 30 million users. So you cannot expect to get more than peanuts unless you actually do some extra stuff that is integrated in the app itself. As for Linea, there might also be some extra incentives for using the Linea network, but for now, we can use MetaMask MUSD, their stablecoin easiest way in and out of crypto as they brand it, but you can also use it across the Linea network, which is doing somewhat decent since they're TG as well, but you can use it in an app such as Etherfax, and here you find some more or less correlated pairs. The most TVL is, of course, on stablecoin pairings, but you won't get too happy with these APRs, but either way, this is just speculation for the airdrop. And if you want to make sure that you don't incur any losses during these red crypto days, stablecoin pairings are actually the way to go. And if you're a little more risk on, you can take a bet with Linea ETH pairing, which is maybe the best risk adjusted returns, offering you about 750% APR at current rates. There's also USDC ETH offering 800%, but keep in mind that this is probably a little too inflated because this is not normal return for a ETH USDC pairing. Also, you have another angle that you can maybe qualify for future Linea or MetaMask airdrops for simply holding Linea network assets on chain. So that could be another reason. And last on this topic is, as it usually goes, once one project announces a token, then oftentimes their competition must follow if they wish to keep market share and remain competitive. So of course, Rabby Wallet is starting to tease their own token as well. So this post is notifying us what is going to be the market cap for future Rabby token, and community votes are split between 1 billion and 10 billion, indicating that maybe all the points you've accumulated over the years will be worth something. Also, guys, another reminder, if you're just using MetaMask or one wallet type, make sure to install different wallets and use all of them. For EVM, you have Rabby, you have, of course, Zerion and Rainbow as three main MetaMask competitors. And you can simply, if you trust the company, you can simply import your seed phrase. Make sure to go from official links. This is probably the most important time that you should ever click on official links when importing a wallet seed phrase, and then use these wallets organically over time. You might be in for a very nice surprise once all of these projects tokenize, which is very, very likely in the near future. Now, let's jump really quickly into Hyperliquid Eco with Based One DEX, a promising perpetual that is actually having their first fair launch on their launchpad as well. Upheaval is a DEX on HyperEVM, which you can use to swap at very favorable rates, and they are doing a race. It's going to be launchpad open on September 22nd, and for 3 days, you'll be able to contribute if you want to participate in this presale. Of course, these launches are very risky and you never know the valuations at which the token is actually going to launch. So only do this with risk capital if you're even planning to do it, but just something to consider. Upheaval is one of the better places to swap tokens, but we have many alternatives as we will soon come to understand. Also, 20% of the upcoming Upheaval airdrop is going to be split between PUP holders, Upheaval point holders, and everyone who has used Based as a platform. Now, there is another project that we can also use to swap tokens on HyperEVM, and that is a little more established one, Project X. So phase 2 is currently live, and you can trade and bridge into HyperEVM with 0 fees. As mentioned before, it's basically trying to be jumper on HyperEVM, and best of all, every swap, every bridge is going to earn you points. Also, I bet that season 3 is going to be a perpetual because now they've already built a DEX aggregator, and it is only logical that the third step would be a perpetual exchange because after all, that is the best revenue generator in all of crypto. All of these stats have actually made them have a really good volume. So 48-hour volume was 23 million, 6,000 unique traders, and almost a million in the largest swap. Also, literally half an hour ago, they just hit 50,000 users, a big milestone. But let's say that you don't want to trade on perpetual dexes and you just don't want to be part of that CZ meta. There's an alternative route you can take, and that is with predictions markets. So there's Polymarket for all what feels like an eternity, and there's also Kaishi. They've both recently raised 9 billion, and at these numbers, they're at 5 billion fully diluted valuations. So if you wish to take this different approach, then this could be some very good arbitrage and hedging opportunities, especially if you're familiar with the betting markets and the TradFi sportsbooks. As always, if you want access to this kind of quality information in real time, where you can debate and discuss all these topics with some serious DeFi veterans and airdrop hunters, then our Discord might be the place to be. It has all the access for most important airdrops we're currently farming, as well as altcoins and many other DeFi strategies that are currently ongoing. You can also find some real alpha, which is of course something that you cannot really share on YouTube, but there are some perpetual dexes that are actually new on the radar and probably worth a look. All of this information is available for you if you choose to go in the links of the description of this video. Always in the description and the first pinned comment, you will find all the information how to get in this specific private community, monthly, yearly plans, as well as an airdrop tracking application to help you keep organized. The transition from the NFT collection into a new program is ongoing, and we'll have much more updates for you regarding this soon. But basically, it is an upgraded version, better program, and hopefully something that will be able to survive the bear market that is probably coming from 26 to 28. So what is going on in the markets? At the moment, Bitcoin is trading under 113K, and there are still some tokens holding much better than the rest. Of course, we've had a new launch in OG Labs. This one's been outperforming over the last 24 hours, or at least keeping parity. There's also Avantis that is just under $2 now, but from the lows of 50 million market cap is doing absolutely incredible. And in the top 100, Story and Mental seem to have missed the memo of Bitcoin crashing because they're both up 4 and 5% on the daily. All of these tokens are probably going to do the best when Bitcoin actually recovers, so keep them on the radar if you're looking for some juicy, responsible, long leveraged plays. So what about this mini CZ Binance Smart Chain season? Let's take a quick look at what's going on with ASTER. It's a token that launched a couple days ago. They had their airdrop, and it is a perpetual DEX that is supposedly going to be a competitor to Hyperliquid. However, currently, as it stands, a huge amount of supply is controlled by just 6 wallets. So that would kind of mean that it is kind of centralized. But then again, what is the thesis behind this? Heavily controlled supply, bearish. Heavily controlled supply by trusted people, bullish. Rules of the crypto game are ridiculous, and for now, the token is doing pretty well. But of course, if you're going to be doing anything with this department, I would highly recommend doing something like on PancakeSwap, where you can actually set ranges. And even though the impermanent loss is real and you can still lose money, even if you don't trade or hold in spot, but try to LP these, at least on the way, you can find some ridiculously high yields. Currently, it's in 4 digits, and the volumes are still pretty huge. Of course, we'll do more about this in the yield farming video, maybe this week or the next, but for now, it's just something to consider if you're looking to get some exposure, but you don't necessarily want the volatility that is happening right now on the markets. At least one positive is that we're getting better entries for Hyperliquid if we want to add to your bags, and there is maybe a much better opportunity also, just a little bit more on the risk curve. Of course, this guy has been predicting that ASTER might be a great opportunity, but also the same guy believes that ZEX, so Zeta Markets, that has rebranded into Bullet, is actually one of the best dexes that we can jump into right now. Currently, just under 20 million in market cap, but their tech stack seems impressive enough, and their token is just doing pretty badly over the last couple of months. After the June pump, of course, it has retraced a lot back into the $0.10 range, but of course, now it seems to be doing very well because apparently it's a Perp DEX meta for the last week. And quick honorable mention of Avantis that finally seems to be cooling off a little after a almost 2-week crazy rally. Also, if you are doing something with Nansen, you might want to keep 25th of September on your radar because there seems to be something happening. Remember that you can farm this by simply depositing funds on a platform, buying the subscription, and speculating on future airdrop. However, there's also free social tasks you can do just to pick up some points along the way. And that is a wrap for all the topics for today. If you like the content, make sure to like and subscribe with bell notifications on. Any questions, comments, I'm waiting for you in the comment section below and in our Discord. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the changing of the background midway, and till next time, have an amazing day.